said the Lions won a game. Man, we going all the way, baby. We about to
and we are back. Great Lakes State football, episode 25, talking everything football in the great state of Michigan. And football is back, just about. First few games for high school, college, a few weeks away here, coming right up. And I'm Vince.
I'm Kory.
And I'm Brett. And we are here on the eve of high school football practice kickoff.
Some teams are starting at midnight.
Do you guys remember the eve of high school football back in the day? I wouldn't sleep, be so anxious all damn night, and then you get up and you hate yourself by noon.
And then you sleep like a baby the rest of the week because you're so
very
tired.
True.
I was always so anxious, and then I got to practice. My buddies were there, and the excitement was there. It was so fun. Remember like it was yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Was that 11 years ago? 10? No, 12 years ago.
12 years ago for you and I. Yeah.
Dozen.
13 for Core Dog there.
The Baker's dozen for Kory.
Baker's dozen. Baker's dozen.
Eating a couple Baker's dozen too, unfortunately.
Oh man. So yeah, it's here, ladies and gentlemen. We are very excited for football to be back. Pretty crazy. We started this podcast and our social media accounts back up in November of last year. So we kind of got in on the cusp of postseason for pretty much all levels of football. And this will be our first full season that Great Lakes State football has been rocking and rolling. So we're very excited. So last episode we had on a college coach, Coach Whitehead. Hope you enjoyed that episode. But this week we do not have a guest. We are actually just going to spend some time here previewing the season. We're going to have a couple episodes in a row here where we preview different levels of football all around the state of Michigan here. High school, all the way from D3 all the way up to D1 and the Big Ten, NFL, all that. We are also going to this episode. Brett's going to kick us off here in a second, previewing kind of our plans as a podcast, as a quote unquote Twitter media outlet, whatever you want to call us, for your one-stop shop for every level of football in the state of Michigan here. So kind of got some plans that we're excited about to bring to you in terms of content and news and things to watch and read and listen for this fall. So Brett will kind of run us through that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the MHSAA, high school football. And then we're going to talk about the lower levels of college football. We'll be back later, probably later this week or most likely next week around the same time with another short episode talking about the Big Ten, the MAC, and we're going to talk about the Lions this week too. Excuse me. Almost forgot. We do got the Lions that we're going to mention since they're rocking and rolling in camp here, and Hard Knocks comes out in a couple days from the time we're recording this. I think 2 days from the night that we're recording this. So very excited about Hard Knocks. So Brett, you want to get us going here with our plans, our 2022 season plans for Great Lakes State football, what people can expect from us?
Absolutely. So like Finn said, we're planning to be the one-stop shop for all things football in the Great Lakes State. So we're going to be fairly active this fall, both on Twitter and on the podcast, while as active as we can be, all having our day jobs and fatherhood jobs and coaching jobs and cat dad and all other things below.
And all that other fun
and
stuff.
while still finding time to hit the golf course here and there. But we do have some big plans for this fall that we're really excited about. And I'll just kind of highlight a couple of those topics here. So the big one that we're planning to do is the weekend viewing guide. So we're hoping, on Wednesday or Thursday before the NFL Thursday night kicks off, that we'll list out a whole sheet on the viewing guide for the weekend. We won't highlight the MHSAA just because there's so many games that we're not going to put that all in one spot, but we can maybe highlight our top 5 MHSAA games of the week. But we will list out all the NAIA, D3, D2, D1, and obviously NFL, just being the Lions, the matchups, and the time of kickoff and the day, whether it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday for those that are interested. And then similar to MHSAA, we'll do our top 5 games for between the college and the Lions and our picks for those games. So it'll be fun and interactive, and we'll post those out every other week. And in addition to the viewing guide, we're also going to be attending some games throughout the state, whether it's high school, college, or NFL games. So we'll make sure that we take a picture of us there, share our experience at the game. And then in addition to attending games, we're also looking to post a stat summary. I'm pretty excited about this. We're going to take all of the college and NFL statistics, not the MHSAA. That's too many stats to handle in one spot, but we're going to break it down by the top passer, rusher, and receiver and interceptions of the week as far as yardage and touchdowns are concerned. So I'll put it all in one spot. So you could have the D3 quarterback from, say, Adrian College maybe led all quarterbacks within college or professional level in the state. And it'll be cool to get all those statistics in one spot and do a little comparison. And for high school, because there's so many stats, what we're going to be posting is, the route of the week or the top score differential of the week, and also the top point score for around the state. Just overall, perhaps maybe we'll divide it by division. We'll decide that kind of as we go. It'll be more of a dynamic adjustment for that. In addition to that, we'll also post some top news, not just your basic news, but if there's like groundbreaking news, like Jared Goff is out for the rest of the year, something like that. Obviously we'll highlight that and we'll talk about that in our podcast. We're not sports writers here, or broadcasters. We're more of a one-stop shop and just relaying the information to our crowd. And then in addition to that, with our podcast, we're also looking to continue our guest interviews. So in the off season, when we were a little bit slower, we did more of like a biography of the person that we were interviewing. In the season, we look to be a little bit more clean and concise. And there'll be more of just a summary of, with a coach or a player, of the game of their past week, maybe their expectations for the rest of the season, their personal performance, et cetera. So there's a lot going on here that we're really, really excited about. It's going to be a lot of work, but we're hoping that it's going to give you the experience that you desire. So yeah, just a little glimpse of our fall plans.
Want to keep it fun, lighthearted. Football is fun. Zero fun, sir. Let's not take this too serious.
Zero fun, sir.
Have some fun with our listeners and followers, and just bring them the best information that we can. It'll be a good season, guys. We're gonna have some fun.
It'll be fun, and it's gonna be done before we know it. I mean,
oh yeah, it goes. I can't believe it's already here. Go by in a blank. Did you mention? The listener won't notice this because I will do a great job editing out, but there's a little bit of glitch. Did you mention attending games?
Yeah, attending games. Obviously Vince is going to be at a high school game every Friday, but Kory and I are going to do a variety of games, not every weekend, maybe a couple weekends. I know we plan to go to a Central game, a Western game. Kory's got a couple Lions games on his schedule. I know Vince and Kory are planning to go to the Northwood Hillsdale football game. I plan to maybe hit a Grand Valley Ferris game if it's an Allendale. I think it's
Ashland Northwood game down in Ohio. That'll be fun.
Oh, nice. That'll be cool. Ashland's a cool stadium. I also was hoping that at some point the three of us or a variety of us could hit one of the MIAA games. I'd love to see a game at Hope College's stadium with all their renovations, but wishful thinking. It'll just depend on our schedules, but we're looking forward to trying to be at as many games as possible, whichever ones we can. Like Brett mentioned, I'm coaching. I got practice tomorrow starting with camp, so I'll be at the ones I can. It'll be mostly college games during the season, but hopefully once the season's up, I'm hoping we make a nice long run in the playoffs. But obviously, once the season is over, there'll be. I love to go to a bowl game again too. That was fun last year. Going
to a
to
different one.
Yeah, that'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun. I enjoyed going to my first ever bowl game last year. But yeah, we'll see. We're very excited about the season.
Brett, tell Cole to make a bowl game so we can go to that.
That'd be fun.
Preferably other than the Detroit one, so we can go to a different one.
Excuse to go somewhere else.
I'd love if they went to the Bahamas Bowl. That'd be great.
Oh,
I am going.
Caroline would kill me.
Bring her along.
Find someone to watch the kids for a couple days.
You can bring the kids with you on a plane. They're not.
Hell no! I'm not bringing two toddlers to Bahamas.
That's soft.
Then I'm not gonna have any fun. The whole time I'll be watching them.
I'll hang on to them.
You're gonna take two toddlers for a whole vacation?
But nonetheless, I will be going to their bowl game wherever it is, and
that'll be fun.
Hopefully, it's not in Detroit.
Or
hopefully it's the weather. Bahamas.
Yeah, hopefully if it was in Bahamas, that'd be sweet. It would take a lot to convince me.
What about the Idaho Potato Bowl?
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Boise State Stadium is cool. I've been to Boise. It's a cool city. You got the mountains in the background and everything. It's a cool view.
Nice.
It'd be fun. Well, all right, guys. Anything else you want to add for our plans here this fall? Otherwise, we can get an MHSAA conversation here.
This high school foosball, baby.
High school foosball.
Back.
All right. So the first thing we want to mention here this week, we had a big hiatus. We apologize. We had been pretty consistently putting out regional rankings. We did 8 regions around the state of Michigan, started back in, I think it was like March. We started ranking regionally with the greater Lansing area first. And then we did Grand Rapids. We did the Flint, Tri-City Thumb area. We did the Upper Peninsula. We did Northern Michigan. We did Metro Detroit. We knocked out 6, and then we kind of just the summer got away from us. And then this last week, we just within a week have put out 3. We put in our last 2 regions, which was Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, and then the Jackson, Ann Arbor. And then we did a statewide one of all Michigan high school football teams ranked by winning percentage since 2010. We didn't talk about this yet, guys. Do you want to kind of briefly touch on the final 2 regions before the statewide one really quick? Okay.
Yeah.
So we can take a look here first at the Battle Creek K-Zoo. Anything from the Battle Creek K-Zoo one that pops out to you? I guess first I can just read off the top 5. You guys, anyone listening or watching, you can check our Twitter or Instagram accounts for the pictures of these regions. Number 1 was Edwardsburg in the Battle Creek K-Zoo area at 88%. Mendon was number 2 at 796%. Climax Scotts was number 3 at 77%. Schoolcraft just shy of 74%, and Lawton, who was just in the state championship this last year, got beat by PW, right? Wasn't that who PW beat? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The D7 state title, 73%. Anything about this list, Battle Creek, Kalamazoo area that stands out to you guys?
Small ball football.
I was going to say it's good football, actually. They got some teams that have made significant runs year in, year out. It's good ball.
Edwardsburg, when we get to it in a second here, is very high on the statewide one as well. So Mendon also just slipped in onto the statewide one.
I will say one of the things that's not going to jump out at you on this sheet, but was really interesting while I was compiling all the wins and losses for the teams in this area was the number of teams, and it's the same for the Ann Arbor Jackson region too, but the number of teams or schools rather that are no longer existing. Kalamazoo and Battle Creek probably have a half dozen, if not a little bit more, schools that no longer exist, which is really interesting to me. And then same for the Ann Arbor Jackson area. Jackson probably has 6 or 7 schools alone that have closed within the Jackson area. So
sad, man.
Areas of the state that aren't as populous as they used to be.
Yeah,
I remember Jackson High School at one time used to have 2,000 students. Now they have about 1,000. Now they have about 1,000. Battle Creek Central at one time had like 2,500 students. Now they're like 900, 800. They were a Division
Battle
1.
Creek Central in the playoffs in 2009. 2008. Yeah, 2008.
They were a Division 1 high school. Now they're like D3. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, their enrollments plummeted at Battle Creek Central.
Oh, God. I remember. Was it our last year coaching or the year after I stopped coaching? Vince, we played Battle Creek. Who did we play in the playoffs? And they were the worst football team we'd ever seen. And
Kalamazoo, Norris.
Oh, my God.
They're a Division 1 high school. They have about 6. They're the biggest Kalamazoo high school. They have about 1,700 kids. Kalamazoo Central smaller. Kalamazoo Central's like 1,500. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
The home of TJ Duckett.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah. TJ Duckett went to Illinois Norks. Anything else on this list? Otherwise, we'll jump to Jackson, Ann Arbor.
Let's move it.
Jackson, Ann Arbor list. So this one we put out right afterwards, subsequently a couple days later. This one has some big time football. 2 teams made our statewide list, and a third was just shy. Jackson Lumen Christi is number 1. That should not be a surprise if you pay attention to high school football from this region at almost 82% winning percentage. Saline right behind them at around 80%. Chelsea about 77%, Clinton about 76%, and Ottawa Lake Whiteford, which wasn't on my radar, right, just above 75%. And then Monroe St. Mary Catholic is worth mentioning is 6, and they have over 100 wins too at 75%. So you got 4 teams on this list that have over 100 wins since 2010, and 2 others that are just shy at Hudson and Clinton. And Hudson just won a state title. So
I was gonna say Hudson's been pretty prominent for some time now.
Yeah, they've always been a solid program.
Right.
Same with Clinton. Chelsea has been on the rise lately. Saline's been on the rise. I was really surprised with how poor the larger Ann Arbor schools have performed in the last decade. Like
Pioneer, Huron,
Huron,
Skyline just
newer.
opened 10 years ago, and they've been terrible.
As we
since
talked
they
about,
opened.
though, that area is so just massive and with talent, like between Detroit, Ann Arbor, and like just north, like, you know what I mean? There's so
Right.
much talent spread out through there. So many people.
Well, and this is the thing that we always talk about. You'll notice between these two lists that we just looked at, only one D1 team between the Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, Jackson, Ann Arbor. Saline is the only D1 team on these two previous lists. And that's not to say there aren't D1 high schools in these areas. There are a couple in these areas. I mean, we mentioned before that all the D1 schools are pretty much in the greater Grand Rapids and Detroit areas, but there are a couple. They're just not very good at football.
I think a lot of it
might be just
too.
harder to win.
It is harder to win.
And a lot of these teams on the high side of the winning percentage, a lot of these teams are in the playoffs or the championship game every year. So they're getting like 4 or 5 extra games where there are wins that are really like padding the win column. Whereas a lot of these D1 teams, they might make the playoffs every year, but they might lose in round 1 or round 2. And those other smaller schools, if they're making run every year, could have like 20 or 25 more games over this decade that we looked at. So it's something to consider too.
All right. Yep. And the last list that we just put out today. Sorry, can I add one more thing?
Yeah, I will say we should share this as we're looking at it, just in case anyone's on YouTube.
Oh, share the screen.
Yeah.
Share the statewide one here.
Yep.
All right. So our last one is the statewide that we just put this out today. So this list is pretty much all the lists that we've been doing, all 8 regions that we've gone through. And actually the picture that I'm showing right now, probably not the prettiest one. Let me pull up the one I put on our Twitter account. So here's the one right on our Twitter account. So this
Beautiful.
is probably the best looking, and I can go full screen here, give you a better look. Look at that. Beautiful. So this is probably the best looking, or best look.
Sexiest.
Well, it's funny.
This is the sexiest thing you've ever seen.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but now that I'm looking at it, I did a pretty good job with this graphic. I'm going to pat myself on the back here. I was very nitpicky trying to make this thing look nice today. So hopefully teams appreciate that, saw it. So this pretty much just combined all the eight regions that we did. Brett put his Excel spreadsheet skills to work and got this nice list organized, and we got this up. I put this in a graphic today and we got this up. So pretty interesting list here. I went ahead and added 2 extra columns today that we didn't have in the other regions. That was the state championships and state runner-ups. I think that's really interesting when you add that in there to see these teams that are winning the most games. Are they also winning state titles? Are they making playoff runs? So just if you're watching here with us, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you're not gonna be able to see it. You can run over to Twitter, Instagram, check out the graphic, but just kind of running through like the top 10 here. Number 1 is Ithaca. They're the only team in the state since 2010 that have over a 90% winning percentage at 92%, 5 state championships, 2 runners up, only 12 losses since 2010. New Lothrop right behind him at 89.5% with 2 state titles. Plum Westphalia, 88%, 4 state titles and 2 runner-ups. Edwardsburg is number 4 at 88%, 1 state title, 1 runner-up. Grand Rapids Catholic Central, we talked about quite a bit back in the winter, 6 state titles, including, I believe it was 3 or 4 in a row at one point, 87%. DeWitt is number 6 at just shy 86%, 1 state title and 2 runner-ups. Muskegon, this is the one that surprised me. I didn't realize this until today. Their winning percentage is very good, number 7, almost 85%, but I didn't realize since 2010, they've only won 1 state title, but they've been to 7. They've lost in the state championship 6 times since 2010. I did not realize that. Number 8, yeah, they play the D3 ones. We'll talk about this in a second here. D3 is probably the toughest division. Number 8, Reed City. This one's interesting because they're just shy 84%, very high winning percentage, but no state titles, no state title appearances. I looked it up today. They've only played 134 games, and that's because they lose first, second, or third round every time, but they go 9-0. They are private school.
No, they lose. They're
public school. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
They
that's
lose
right.
to like West Catholic like every year.
There's
Right.
nobody around Reed City. That's
Correct.
probably
They're in middle of nowhere in northern Michigan. Yes. Yeah,
I have a lot of family that live in the area, so I follow them
Right.
quite closely.
they
They
go
have the
9-0
best-
like every year.
Fun
They're
fact,
8-1.
and this is a big shout out to Reed City. So I had a sales rep up there before. They have one of the best Mediterranean restaurants
Really?
ever, and it looks like a gas station, but you go in and the food is so good for
That's
Reed
funny.
City, Michigan. It's unbelievable. J&A
Recommendation
Grocery,
of the
if
week.
anybody
There it
wanted to
is.
know. J&A Grocery, hit them up.
Finish out the top 10 here real quick, and then we'll kind of talk about it. Detroit Cats Tech at number 9. No surprise there. 83%, 3 state titles, 1 runner-up. And then Lansing Catholic finishes out the top 10, 83%, 2 state titles, 2 runner-ups. One of my takeaways here as a Greater Lansing native, there are 5 teams on this top 20 and 4 in the top 10. Greater Lansing, stand up, baby. I don't think the Greater Lansing area gets a lot of love in high school football. Ithaca number 1, PW number 3, DeWitt number 6, Lansing Catholic 10, and Portland is 17. I think that's pretty cool.
I agree with you, Vince. I think it's kind of crazy how well represented Greater Lansing is. But what's even more impressive about the state of Michigan is if you think of like mentally, if you think of the state of Michigan in football, you would say, oh, the Grand Rapids teams always win. Oh, the Detroit teams always win. This is the whole dang state. I mean, it is everywhere, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean, and the last thing I want to add, Brett, I'm sure wants to say something here too, is we've talked about it before. How many D1 teams on this list? Can you guys see how many D1 teams are on this list?
Two.
Two D1 teams. That just shows you how competitive the Division I level is in high school football in the state of Michigan. It's hard to win the Division I state title. I mean, Cats Tech, probably about as dominant as anyone in D1, has managed 3 in 12 seasons. So 4 appearances.
So being the defensive coordinator for a Division I team in Grand Ledge, you're saying there's a chance this year, huh?
I think it's the one of the you. I mean, I know you're half joking, but it is to me the one division
that's up for grabs.
That is because I was actually looking up today. Do you guys know the last time a team won back-to-back state titles in Division I?
It was probably Cass Tech.
It was Cass Tech, and I think it was 16-17.
You know, there's only one Division II team on the list. I mean, Detroit MLK is technically D4 and they're playing D3 this year, but the only other Division II team is Muskegon, who's also D3. So there's not one D2 team on the list. So D2,
not one true D2, because Muskegon and MLK jump around. They've jumped around a lot in the last 12 years divisionally, but yeah, there's no like true D2 team.
What were the next 5, Vince?
The next 5, yeah. Here, let me exit out a full screen here.
Millington and
next 5 were. So we got next 5 was Millington, Ishpeming. Millington has no state title appearances. Ishpeming has 5 state title appearances with 3 wins. Clarkston, number 23, with 4 state title appearances and 1 win, 3 wins, excuse me. And then Muskegon Catholic Central, number 24, 4 state titles. Powers North Central is an 8-man team with 4 state titles at 25.
And those last 4 out have almost like more state titles than half the teams in the top thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, in the top 20.
Yeah, aside from Millington, every team has been in at least 4 state titles.
Yeah.
Reed City. Oh, you're talking about the top. Oh, sorry. You're
like
talking
these
about 21 through 25. Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy to think about. I noticed that today. I'm like, wow, all these teams have been in at least 4 state titles, and then Millington hasn't been in 1. But that just shows you, I mean, how competitive it is. I think there were a couple schools with 100 or more wins that just got left off this list. I know there were, and quite a few at 90-something wins. Who won multiple state titles as well, like Mona Shores. Mona Shores doesn't quite have 100 wins, but they have 2 or 3 state titles in this time frame. But the winning percentage is an interesting stat to look at just because of just depends on your competition, who you're playing during the regular season, then what division are you in, where are you located geographically, who do you have to play in the playoffs. And I think it's a testament to the teams, that are high on this list and winning state titles. It just shows, how well coached they are, and they have talent, good talent, well coached.
We might have to do a little collab with Goose Poop here and see if he can. He's done all of his research on recruits by each team, and maybe we can make a separate column for this top 25 and put number of like top recruits, just to kind of show that to kids, like, you just because you're not the best recruit doesn't mean you can't be successful in high school.
Yep.
Well, all right. Anything else you guys want to add on these regional rankings? Otherwise, we'll get into our last thing for high school here.
Let's do it.
All right. So last thing we're going to get into here is our picks for the state championship teams. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again here. Oh, shoot. Before I share my screen.
Cat butt knocked my camera over.
Kory just fell.
We lost Kory.
No,
Kory's
we're good.
down.
I caught myself.
Kory's down. All right, here we go. Got to share my screen again.
I was going to say, if you just copy and paste that into a PowerPoint, you should be able to just share it. You'd be good.
I just zoomed in on the logo. There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So here are our picks for the state championship teams, who we believe have the best shot at winning the state championship here in each division in Michigan high school football. Division 1. Actually, let's start from the bottom. We'll start from the bottom, work our way up. 8-man football, D2 8-man football. Brett has Crystal Falls Forest Park, powerhouse in Division 8 for a long time before moving to 8-man. And Kory and I both went Powers North Central, who, as we just talked about, has won 4 straight state titles, or 2 straight, but 4 overall in the last 12 years in 8-man football. 8-man D1, Brett picked Deckerville. Kory and I both picked Sutton's Bay. Sutton's Bay, I think, has been a runner-up a number of times. I don't think they've actually won it yet. Maybe they've won one,
I picked Sutton's Bay because I looked at last year's schedule and they were blowing everybody out, and then they just happened to lose in the state title. So.
Well, yeah, that's what I was kind of looking at too. And I've seen that they've had some sustained success, and I'm wondering if this is their time. They finally sneak in the state championship. I know 8-man football is kind of weird, where it's like you got a few teams that really just dominate. Brett, any comments on picking Deckerville there, or you just want me to move on to 11-man football?
No, I didn't. I just like Deckerville. The name rang a bell from previous 8-man football playoffs. But Crystal Falls Forest Park, I picked them, which is interesting. They're 8-man D2 because Crystal Falls Forest Park used to make a lot of appearances in the Division 8 title game.
Yep, they won quite a few, I think.
Yeah, the early 2010s. So I picked them because they have a pretty solid football foundation within the town there. So that's why I picked them.
All right, D8. Brett picked McBain. Kory picked Ubley, and I picked Beale City. Any comments on your picks there, gentlemen, for Division 8? Which the Division 8 defending champs are Hudson, I believe, right? Or the defending champs.
Brett just called out my Ubley colors are off. It must have changed when I format painted, so I will fix that by tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
So I picked McBain because McBain is traditionally a D7 team, and I actually have family that live in McBain too. But they're a really good football school, and they make a run in the playoffs almost every single year. So now getting bumped down to D8, I picked them because I think that they'll be able to run away with their division. So that's why I picked McBain. They actually have an ex-NFL player from McBain too. His name's Dan Bazine, former Central Michigan Chippewa.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kory, any comments on Ubley?
Nothing. They've just been a powerhouse. So figured
I think they have a lot of semifinal appearances, right? Ubley.
Yeah, they've been good.
I picked
Beale City. All of them have been.
I picked Beale City just because I saw that, again, kind of similar situation, some sustained success, but haven't quite got that state title recently. They came up just short against Hudson this last year. So they looked pretty good. I watched them in the state title game. I thought they looked pretty good. Division 7, Brett and Kory both picked Pewam Westphalia. We were the defending Division 7 state champs. And I went with Jackson Lumen Christi. I guess I should defend my pick because I was the odd man out here. I just picked Lumen Christi because they're a program that has had a lot of state championships, appearances, wins, and success. And then they had a couple years right before COVID where they kind of got upset, where they didn't make quite as big of a playoff run. And then last year, I believe they got nipped by a point by Lawton in the semifinal. I think they lost 21-20 to Lawton. And knowing Jackson Lumen Christi, they will always be back with talent. They will reload. I would imagine that's going to be a big motivator for them to come back and maybe make a run at their next state championship. So I went with Lumen Christi this year.
What a tale of two different cities, or not cities, but a tale of two different teams. You got PW, rural Michigan, like everybody's related to everybody. And then you got Jackson Lumen Christi. Everybody wears knee braces. They've been recruited from the greater Jackson
Kory loves
area.
mentioning that.
It's just like I mean, it's a tale of two tapes. I would be excited to see that game.
That would be a cool matchup because they would be on opposite sides of the bracket. That would be a cool matchup. Absolutely. Division 6, Brett picked Montague. We went 3 different teams here. Kory picked Warren Michigan Collegiate, who was in the state title last year and lost. And I picked the defending champs, Lansing Catholic. Brett, any thoughts? Montague, I know, has a couple state title wins, I think.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I might be wrong. I think their old quarterback from like 2008, 2009 that played at Central in Cincinnati, Cody Cater. I think he's their head coach now. I might be wrong. He's coaching somewhere.
In the All-Star game.
I think I have a sticker on here.
Yeah, I think he might be coaching them. Anyways, they're traditionally a really good squad. And I was looking at all my other picks. And Grand Rapids, west side of the state area, normally has at least 2+ teams in the state championship that win it. So that's why I picked Montague.
Kory, any thoughts on the runner-up?
Yeah, Warren Michigan Collegiate had that really young quarterback who was a baller. So
right.
I'm gonna put the ball in my man's hands and let him bring me a ship in Division 6.
I went Lansing Catholic. They lost, was his name Joey Baker, which was the coach's, Jim Baker's son, was the quarterback, I believe, last year. Very talented. And they lost their wide receiver who's walking on Michigan State as well, Alex Waters. But I had a chance actually to coach against them in 7-on-7s a couple weeks ago, and they were very impressive. Their quarterback is enormous. So they reloaded with a huge quarterback. They got some talented receivers, skill players out there. Now, I don't know what their line looks like, but I would just imagine Lansing Catholic has had a lot of success recently. And from what I saw from their skill position players, I wouldn't be surprised if they're right back in it again this year. So
when you say enormous, are we talking like Pillsbury throw boy or like 6'10"?
He was like he was 6'3", like 200 pounds. Like he looks like
healthy enormous,
like a very good, like Division 6. That's a big Division 6 quarterback to me from what I saw. But
yeah.
I'm also a defensive coach, so I'm not an offensive evaluator. So Division 5, Brett and I both went with the defending D5 state champs who led our statewide list with 6 state championships, Grand Rapids Catholic Central, and Kory went with Frankenmuth, who's been right there. They've been very, very close to getting there. Did they make it to a state title?
Yeah, last year they lost.
Yeah, they lost last year to Grand Rapids Catholic Central, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Kory, any thoughts on your boys over there at Frankenmuth? Don't you have a buddy?
Yeah, my old college roommate coach is at Frankenmuth, so I'm going to give the Frankenmuth boys some love and just hopefully they can pull it off this year. You know, small town, economy held up by chicken, so
and Bronner's.
And Bronner's, nothing like fried chicken and Bronner's.
Yeah. It's a cool town though. Good brewery there too.
Beautiful town.
I got a mug over here somewhere.
I don't think Brett and I have to say much about GRCC. They've been a powerhouse dynasty. I mean, I think most people would probably pick them. I would love to see Frankenmuth take it, but
D5, greater D5, prove me wrong.
Yeah, please. Prove me wrong, GRCC. Yeah, seriously. Division 4, Brett is our outlier here. Kory and I went with Grand Rapids Unity Christian, or I guess it's isn't it Holland? That was Holland Unity Christian.
Grand Rapids. It might be.
No, it's Grand Rapids.
Is it? Yeah, it's
Hudsonville. It's Hudsonville.
Hudsonville. Yeah, Hudsonville. Excuse me, Hudsonville Unity Christian.
We'll change it before tomorrow.
So we'll fix that. Hudsonville Unity Christian, who was dominating Chelsea in the D4 state title last year and gave up a 28-point lead, I believe it was, or 27-point lead, something like that, and ended up losing late in one of the highest scoring games in state title history. They were incredibly talented. They blew everyone out all year long and looked like they were going to do it to Chelsea until the second half. It sounds like Kory and I kind of think that chip on their shoulder may bring them back next year. Brett picked Orchard Lake St. Mary, who I believe bounced down a division this year from D3 to D4, correct? They were D3 the last few years.
Yeah, that's the reason why I picked them, and they play the toughest schedule in the state per Goose Poop. So when they make the playoffs at 5-4, they're just going to roll over the Division 4 competition.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure they'll be very, very good. D2 and D3 is unanimous from Great Lakes State football here. We both, all three of us, picked the defending state champ for D3, Detroit King, and the defending state champ for De La Salle, for D2, De La Salle. Prove us wrong. Those two teams, while DeWitt gave King everything they could handle, DeWitt I don't think is going to be quite as good this year, so I'll be curious to see who challenges King in D3. There's some other very good schools like Muskegon, obviously, that will challenge them, I'm sure, but with Dante Moore, prove us wrong. I think he's only going to be better as a senior. So De La Salle, similar situation. I got
something to say about Detroit King too. So everybody in D4 has to be so happy that Detroit King opted to play D3.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
they would,
yeah.
Well, and I'm wondering if the coaches had to agree with each other. Like, it would mean more to come back and win again D3 than be like, oh, we're just going to run through D4. Like,
yeah, but if you're any D4 team, you're just like, please go D3.
Even though Orchard Lake St. Mary's and Hudsonville Union Christian also are very strong.
They are.
D4 is also,
and so is
very
Edwardsburg.
strong.
Edwardsburg is very good. Chelsea will be good again, I'm sure. Yeah, there's still talented teams in D4. Shouldn't take anything away from them. All right, the big dogs here to wrap up MHSAA Division 1. We are split. I think this is one of only three divisions of 11-man football, or one of three divisions of the 10 here, where we pick three different teams. Brett picked Saline, Kory picked the runner-up, Rochester Adams, and I picked the defending state champ, Belleville. Brett, why Saline? Is there something you know about? Obviously, Saline was on our statewide list. Saline's very good. Something you know that we don't?
Saline is traditionally a great program that always makes a pretty far run in the playoffs. They also have a quarterback by the name of CJ Carr, who's committed to Notre Dame, second best quarterback in the state. He's a grandson of former Michigan head coach Lloyd Carr. So it kind of hurts that he's going to Notre Dame. Actually, it does hurt he's going to Notre Dame, but a good quarterback always makes a good team, especially in high school football. So that's why I picked Saline.
Kory, what are you thinking about the former runner-up?
Rochester Adams was young last year, if I remember right, watching the game, and they also had a junior quarterback who was a stud baseball player who will be back. So they also have that tight end that's been getting a ton of offers. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's got like 25 offers. He got offered by Alabama last week. So they also have some studs. And if you got, as Vince knows, with a guy on his team who's 6'8", a 6'8" tight end in high school football normally is a pretty good option for any quarterback.
Brady Priestcorn is the name.
Yeah.
And I went with Belleville just because I believe they had a freshman quarterback. Did they not last year?
They did.
I can't. And they had, I think, more D1 offers than just about anyone other than maybe Kaz Tech or whatever. But I'm sure they'll be right back there competing for it. Wouldn't surprise me. So those are our picks for the state champions at all 10 divisions, including the 2 8-man divisions for Michigan high school football this year. We will have this graphic up on Twitter along with the episode. Once we get this episode out, we'll probably put it in the thread over there on Twitter. And then we'll probably have the graphic posted to Instagram as well. So hope you guys like our picks. If you don't agree with them, let us know why. Let us know your picks. And excited to watch high school football this year. See all the madness and chaos unfold. The only other thing we had on our docket here with MHSAA is just to mention camp. This episode we are recording is Sunday night. For some high schools, they will be kicking off practice in a little over 2 hours. Midnight Madness, I know is a big tradition for a lot of high schools around the country that they like to start practicing as soon as they're allowed to. Where we went to school at Grand Ledge, we never did that. I know St. John's, which is a school very close to where we went to school, was always big on doing midnight practice, but we will be practicing tomorrow night. So
what are your guys' thoughts on Midnight Madness? I personally don't think I would want to do it.
I think it's gimmicky, but
yeah, I think it's gimmicky. I don't know if I want to do it, but also it's the cold part of the day. It's not scorching hot out, but I don't know. As a coach, I wouldn't want to do it because I feel like the focus isn't there like it would be first thing in the morning. It'd be fun as
do
a
you
player.
practice again on Monday, or do you practice again on Tuesday? I don't know.
No, that's their Monday practice.
And then they come
because it's Monday at 12 in the morning.
Yeah,
nothing like
and then
throwing off a
again
sleep
Tuesday.
schedule.
Yeah, that's the thing is then you practice. So this is what I will say. I've heard this before. I've heard teams will come in at midnight and practice from like midnight to 2. Like they do like a 2-hour practice or something, and then they go to bed and they come back and we'll practice like another practice the next afternoon, like Monday or that afternoon, like Monday at like 2 or 4 or something.
That just doesn't sound productive.
No.
Yeah, I would revolt.
You got kids sleeping until 11 on Monday and they got to wake up early Tuesday.
No, I'm not. I'm agreeing with you. I would never be interested in that. Plus with your coaches, I don't know, as a coaching staff, like I just feel like I wouldn't be fresh. When we got coaches who don't work in the school system, I feel like it would only work if your staff all worked in the school system and they weren't currently in school, right? Like we got a lot of coaches we got some who work construction. We got some, who
plumbers.
Yeah. Various jobs throughout the day. So it's like, they can't do that. They're in bed at 9:00 at night. So no, I agree. I think it's kind of gimmicky. Anyway, good luck to everyone starting practice. And we are going to wrap this episode up talking about the Lions here. What we are going to do is we will discuss our college preview. We'll have a college preview episode that'll come out next week where we will discuss all levels. We originally thought about for this episode doing D3 and D2 and NAIA, but what we'd like to do is just do all the college preview in one episode. So this will be strictly high school and the Lions. Look forward next week to us discussing all levels of college football here in the state of Michigan. With that, I'll let Kory talk to us about the Lions.
Yeah, Vince, I don't know if you want to pull up and cast our NFC North picks. We did put our picks in, and unanimously, we all took the Green Bay Packers to win the NFC.
It hurt.
And then it was kind of a mixed bag through the rest of it. So you got a little bit of the Vikings, a little bit of the Lions coming in at second, and then flip-flopped there. But I guess I'll just branch off what you guys think. So we got Vince and I with the Lions at 9-8. The media's taking the Lions at 6-11. And then Brett's at 8-9. What do you guys think? I mean, Brett, do you think they have any shot in hell to get to 500, or do you think 8-9's like ceiling?
I think anything below 8 wins is definitely a disappointment. I set the bar at 8 because that's kind of my expectation. I don't think anything above that is like
I think anything above that, they're overachieving big time.
But you also got to look at, I mean, if you look at my predictions in particular, I have 3 teams in the NFC North under 500, and the Lions are going to play the Vikings twice and the Bears twice, and the Packers once or twice, once at home, once in Green Bay. The Green Bay is an L. The one at home, they always traditionally give Green Bay a little bit of a fight. And
I found a way to win last year.
They did. And I don't know, Green Bay lost a lot last year, just particularly in the wide receiver room, with Devontae Adams leaving for the Raiders. But it's Aaron Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers just wins.
He does psychedelics now.
He finds a way to win.
What is Ayahuasca or Ayahuasca or whatever?
Yeah.
And the guy is all football. He doesn't care about family. Doesn't care about friends. He's just football.
He is a lunatic. But I agree. I would say 8-9 wins for Lions is probably the ceiling. I think that's best case scenario for us. I mean, who knows? It would be very Lions-esque to just rattle off one of those seasons where they had like 12, 13 wins out of nowhere and win the division. And it could also be very Lions-esque to just fall flat on our face and the Kool-Aid stains our shirt and it just doesn't work out. So there's that. Our Super Bowl picks. The media is taking the Bills. I'm taking the Bucks. I think Tom Brady goes out, wins his last Super Bowl, and waltzes off into the sunset. Brett's also taking the Bills, and Vince is still rooting for our homegrown Matt Stafford. So we will see. It'll be a very interesting NFL season. I feel like a generation of the NFL is kind of starting to fall off, and we're going to start seeing some different talent run in the league. So, Vince, you can stop casting that so people don't have to listen to me read my notes.
I really think the Bills can win. I didn't realize that was the favorite. I looked on DraftKings after I said the Bills, but I think with Tyreek Hill leaving the Chiefs, that if the Chiefs lose a little bit of firepower, it opens the door for the Bills. I mean, the Bills have them every single year.
No, I agree. I think the Bills are a good team, and it's honestly it comes down to their defense at this point. I would say their offense is locked and loaded. I mean, they got talent, they got a good running game, they got a good line, they got good wide receivers, quarterback's a stud. You step your defense up one notch, and you're beating pretty much everybody. So
they play the Lions this year
in Buffalo.
I think they play the Lions on Thanksgiving. Actually,
it's probably at. I don't know if it's in Detroit.
We
played at Buffalo a couple years ago.
What day is Thanksgiving? They play at the Lions on November 24th. Yeah, that's a Thanksgiving game. That's awesome.
That'd be a good game. I went to a Thanksgiving game a few years ago, and it was actually underwhelming.
Really? I went in 2019. I think it was right before COVID.
It was fun, but then you don't get to eat.
2018. I went in 2018.
The best part about Thanksgiving is eating a bunch of food and laying horizontal on the floor with a pillow.
So what we did, I had a unique situation. So my cousin, one of my cousins on my mom's side, her family, they all live in Detroit. And she married someone whose family, his name's David, and David's family goes to the Lions game like every year on Thanksgiving, like loves going. So my aunt and uncle, they live in Troy, which is very close to the, Ford Field. So we went to the game and then went back to their house as soon as the game was over, went right down the road and pigged out at their house. It was great.
Now I could get down on that, but I did not have that luxury.
Oh yeah.
So,
we had people right there.
Thank you, Uncle David, for not inviting me. So that's fine. No. Anyway, continuing with the Lions. Camp's going really well. They're 10 days in. Just some information, which we've known. Wide receivers core is still very strong. Aleem McNeil, he's a dog. Apparently he's killing it in practice, torching everybody. The defense is very young. Couple other call outs. Malcolm Rodriguez, 6th-round pick. He's getting first-team reps. I don't know if you guys remember, but when we drafted him, I kind of called him out as somebody to keep an eye on. One of those guys who's played a lot of football. And as you guys know, if you play a lot of football and you're always productive, you're bound to continue to be productive. Kind of like Tim Tebow when he came into the league. Granted, people say he's a bust. Personally, I was a big fan of Tim Tebow. So one of those guys played a lot of college ball. I think he'll be productive in the NFL. The Lions offensive line, I want to get your guys' take on this. ESPN did a thing where they took kind of their pro football focus stats for run game and pass game and have Lions ranked or projected to be ranked 26th in the NFL this year, which I think is pretty ballsy.
Didn't they actually have a pretty, as bad as they were, wasn't their run game finished pretty strong?
The line is one of their strongest pieces.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of ballsy, but who knows? But camp's going well. Very limited injuries. They did have the Detroit Lions Fan Fest. Did you guys watch any video on that about Campbell telling the hyenas to get out of the way?
I saw the clip.
Yeah, coming, baby.
I saw the clip of him talking in the stadium. I like that a lot. There
was like 18,000 fans there. It was kind of crazy. So. Yep. And then the first episode of Hard Knocks we touched on is the 9th. And then the first preseason game is on the 12th versus the Atlanta Falcons. So season's approaching fast. As you all know, I'm a diehard Lions fan. I will live and die. My juices are flowing for Dan Campbell and what we can do this season.
Kory, as a lifelong diehard Lions fan, is this the most excited you have been for a season?
So I'm going to just be flat out honest. I'm excited, but when we lost that game against the Baltimore Ravens last year, it felt like my heart was ripped out of my chest and just drop kicked off my back porch.
That's about what Dan Campbell looked like too.
So since that game, my love has not been the same. Now we come out, we win 2 or 3 games off the jump. We're rolling, baby. We're rolling. But right now, my heart is still a little.
Where would you like rank though your excited or hypeness to previous years? Not quite as high as maybe coming into that year with Stafford and Calvin Johnson. Not quite like that.
09.
Yeah,
not 09 Lions hype. I would say I'm an 8.5 out of 10.
There was a lot of hype when Fat Trisha first came in too.
Very true.
Could you imagine if
I'm
Matt
right.
Stafford was under center on this Lions team?
Oh,
the
my
excitement.
God, the people would be rocking it. And roll.
There's so much talent. Imagine if he had that much talent in the wide receiver room when he was
It
in
took him leaving,
and an
though.
offensive line. He never had a line. The dude's getting sacked all the
Or
time.
he has a running game. We've got two very good running backs, but they were saying DJ Chark has been just dogging people. They're like, he's big and he's very, very fast.
Yeah, I read some good things about that on the Athletic earlier today. But
yeah. And then you got our first round draft picks not even
Jameson
playing.
Williams.
Yeah, J-Will's not even playing.
Apparently, they're having trouble keeping him engaged.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I had read on the Athletic as well.
They drafted someone who's not.
Well, he's hurt, so
Oh,
yeah, he's
gotcha.
he tore his ACL in the playoff game.
Right, that's right. Forgot
But he'll
about
be
that.
back, they said, probably by week 1.
Say, is he drinking the Dan Campbell Kool-Aid?
He's one of those dudes who can just go out there and he knows he's better than everybody on the field, so he just like does whatever he wants.
And Gamble.
MCDC, as what's his name calls him that.
Get the hyenas out of the way, boy. We coming.
What's
Drink
his name?
that Kool-Aid.
What's his name? The podcast was he a Barstool guy?
Not Barstool. It's
not
the
Barstool.
guy who just
the punter.
punter.
Jesus,
McAfee.
Pat McAfee. He calls him MCDC, Motor City Dan Campbell, because Dan Campbell likes ACDC. Apparently, is like one of his favorite rock bands.
No way. Never would have guessed.
He's from Texas. Yeah, you couldn't have guessed that.
He likes AC/DC and Skull.
And Slipknot.
No, he's a big country fan, apparently. All right, gentlemen. Anything else you guys want to add here before we wrap things up? Otherwise, I think Brett's just got a fun fact you say you want to share.
Yeah, we got the preseason game against the Falcons on Friday. I'm really interested to see who the hell the Falcons have at quarterback. Wonder if they're going to play rookie Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati. That'll be fun to watch.
Is that your fun fact?
No, my fun fact we decided was tied to the max, so I was going to wait for next week. So.
Oh, that's right. Gotcha. All right. To be continued. So thank you for listening to this episode, episode 25 here. It's our first episode where it was just the three of us in a while without a guest. That'll be a lot of episodes going forward in the season, especially to the preview in the next couple of weeks. But during the season, once it gets rocking and rolling, hopefully have some guests on for brief post-game interviews during the weekend. But yeah, thank you for listening. Please let us know what you think about our regional rankings, what you think about our picks for MHSAA football picks for state titles, or your thoughts on the Lions. And then we will be back next week with our preview for every level of college football in the state of Michigan: NAIA, D3, D2, MAC, Big Ten. Thank you for listening. Please follow us over on Twitter, GLSF Ball, Instagram, Great Lakes State Football, YouTube. If you like the video episodes, please subscribe over there, Great Lakes State Football. If you like the audio episodes, Apple and Spotify, please download us, leave us some comments, rate us highly, thumbs up, 5 stars, all that stuff. Great Lakes State Football, episode 25. I'm Vince with co-hosts Brett and Kory. Go Green and go Comets.
And good luck.